I'm Raj Kumar, back here again at CGI, part of our New York Dev Week coverage, joined by a very special guest, Elizabeth Littlefield.
Thank you, Raj.
Of course, the CEO of OPIC. Thanks for being here. You know, there's a lot of big global issues being talked about.
There are.
Where does OPIC fit into this new globalized, interdependent world, which seems to be the key word here at CGI, interdependence?
Totally. Finally, the world is kind of waking up to the fact that the private sector and business can be a force for good and has a critical role to play in all of the discussions that we're having here. And it's frankly thrilling for me to be in a position to provide, businesses and investors with the loans and financing and guarantees that they need to play a role.
Sure. And one of the big issues around that is, of course, energy. The President announced Power Africa. Your agency is one of the key pillars of that strategy. How is that going so far? Are we a year into this now?
We're about a year into it, and I have to say I've been really amazed at a couple of things about Power Africa that have really worked well. One is we're seeing an unprecedented alignment of tools. So AID bringing its grant money to help pay for lawyers for financing that we can then lend into. We're seeing an unprecedented amount of collaboration between the government agencies. In some cases, we're able to get all the team together to meet a business that wants to invest in a power company. So they're able to see all the U.S. government agencies, right there in the same meeting room at the same time.
Right. Yeah, we talk about coordination a lot in development.
Right.
Even just within the U.S. government, coordination is really tough, right? And you're saying it's going well so far.
Actually, sometimes even harder within a family than it is amongst family.
Right.
So, and then the other thing is we've actually seen real results. I think the collaboration between the various parties of Power Africa have made real change. Like the Tanzanian power purchase agreement would not have been extended to 25 years were it not for that joint work among the USG agencies. So it's pretty exciting. We're seeing the most important thing of all is that we're seeing developers coming to the table with an interest in Africa that had no interest in investing in the continent before, or for some of them not even investing outside of the U.S. And all of the noise around Power Africa has made them think, maybe there's something interesting
There's
here.
An opportunity here, yeah.
So we're seeing real, development demand that wasn't there before. So it's development demand that wasn't there before, unprecedented coordination amongst the USG agencies, and alignment of our different instruments and tools, our debt and insurance, AIDs, grants, and then technical capacity from others, all coming together in the service of increasing power.
Doubling the amount of power on the Are we going to get there? Are we close? What's the trajectory?
Well, the president at the Africa Leaders Summit anteed up and doubled that commitment now. So the commitment's have grown.
Okay.
And as you may know, there's very exciting legislation moving along in both the House and the Senate called Electrify Africa and Energize Africa,
Pardon
respectively.
me if I don't hold my breath, but okay.
No. But there's been, the Electrify Africa bill introduced by Chairman Royce on the House passed by 2/3 majority. So there's huge amount of bipartisan support for providing electricity, both megawatts and access, very important, in Africa, that you see the White House and both sides of Congress, both sides of both houses, really quite supportive of this.
Let's talk about that quickly, because I want to get at this issue of access. You mentioned both megawatts and access. What is the tension there? Why can't we just go and build huge energy projects and think we're done?
Well, this is something that I think the world is also beginning to realize, is that it's the future. For me, I think the future of energy in Africa isn't just about building out and improving the distribution and transmission, as well as generation. It's about off-grid, microgrid, mini-grid systems, because most poor Africans are not going to get their power from an electrical grid 10 years from now, but they're going to be getting it from other means. And so the sooner we can develop financeable, technologically viable ways of providing off-grid,
and we're talking about solar
renewable
panels,
energy-based
we're talking about wind turbines, right? Those kinds of systems.
And there's some really, really interesting innovations going on in Africa more than anywhere.
And you're
leapfrogging.
You're providing the financing.
We're providing financing. We're providing financing to a number of very large-scale projects, like what will be the largest wind provider in West Africa, in Senegal. The Lake Turkana project, which will be the largest wind in East Africa, on the continent, in fact. We're doing a number of solar facilities in Southern Africa, for example. So we've got a lot going on at the utility scale power. Increasingly, we're looking for more opportunities, which are harder to find, that are commercially financeable in the off-grid. There, we've been working with great companies like KMRI, NextGen, and others doing off-grid solar and biomass in places like Tanzania and Rwanda, and in Kenya too.
But it sounds like there's more opportunities for those companies who might be watching this and thinking they've got a technology or an approach and are interested. There's still real opportunities, a lot left to be done, it sounds like.
There's real opportunities. I think a lot of times those projects need that early stage first loss capital to be provided by a grant provider,
Sure.
which can be hard to find. Because really, in the end of the day, my agency is in the business of making loans and guarantees and insurance available, but we have to be paid back because
It has
we
to
need
be
to pay
an
back
investable project.
It has to be investable. I mean, and we're very proud of the fact that we return money to the taxpayer every year for 36 years. But what we're looking for are, viable projects that are commercially financeable with real business plans, a proven business case, and experienced developers that can help us work together. But when we find that magical mix of a good business plan, a viable model, and a good partner, we can make very long-term financing available at prices and financing that wouldn't be available from the private market.
Great. Well, thank you so much for spending
Thanks,
some time
Raj.
with us
Appreciate
and for
it.
being a part of this frenetic and energetic but really optimistic week.
No, well, thank
Here
you,
in
and
New York.
thanks so much for the voice that DevX lends to these really important issues here and throughout the year.
Thank you.